Okay. Hi, everybody. So I'll be presenting on PHP, the command line, and the server. And this means using, oh dear.
I want to. That one works.
There we go. Yeah. So I'll be going over just opening up a command line and typing in. I'll be going over what PHP scripts and executables and running them in the command line. And then I'll be going over making a cron and making a server in PHP.
You're going to have to make it different.
So I'll be starting with the command line office. So if you have terminal on your computer, you can do this really easily. You can type in PHPV, which tells you the version of PHP that you have installed. It'll also tell you whether you have PHP installed. If you don't have PHP installed, it'll yell at you. There's also PHP-H, which tells you some of the basic information that you can use for running PHP. So I'll be demonstrating both of these. Is this big enough? Can everybody see? Okay. So PHPV that's telling me my version. So that's cool. I'll be doing stuff using the command line for the whole presentation. I'll also be asking people to give me words for my examples because I don't want to use the examples that I already have. So please think of funny words. And then PHP-H. I'll make this smaller. Tells me the basic format of this PHP executable, and it tells me all of the tags that I can attach to it. And so I'll be using that throughout the presentation because it's very, very helpful. So I can use PHP-R to run snippets of code. And so this also shows up in the help page. So PHP-H. Let's see, where's the R? There it is. So -R, any code. It says I can run this code without using script tags. It's very helpful. So if I try that out, PHP-R, very important, I'm using a single quote here. It tells the PHP executable that I'm starting my PHP code. So I'm going to do echo. I'm going to be using echo a lot. And then, what should I echo out? Hello world? Okay. Oh, okay. And then a semicolon is something that I kept on forgetting when I was trying this out. And it runs it. Oh, also, I'm also going to keep on putting in the PHP end of line because I find it really annoying when it's not there. So that's how you can run just one line of code on PHP. You can also do this with multiple lines of code. You're not limited to just one line of code. The only trick is you don't put that the single quote at the end until you're absolutely done with the PHP and you want it to execute.
Would a backslash n for new line work instead of PHP OL?
Yeah, I think so. So this is something with multiple lines. It starts with assigning a variable and then concatenating a variable with a string and echoing it out. So I'm going to ask for more examples. Somebody come up with a topic, please.
Cats.
Cats. Tabby, I guess. So there's me assigning the variable my cat as Tabby. And then I put in a new line, and it didn't execute it, but it did put a prompt there saying, I'm in a mode where I'm expecting more, and I'm not going to execute anything until I get more, and I get that last single quote. So I'll put in the next line, echo my favorite cat is a and then I put in a semicolon and a closing quote, and there, it's running. So that was 2 lines of code, and it ran just fine. So this is really helpful when you want to test like just one concept, make sure it works. It's great for like just really quick check, but it can be limiting because you have to have the entire piece of code in your head or written down someplace before you can execute it. So PHP has another mode. And that's the interactive shell. And this also shows up on the help file. So if you scroll up, it's this -a run as an interactive shell. It's not super descriptive, but it's good for remembering. So if I do PHP-A, it says that it's an interactive shell, and the prompt becomes PHP and then that closing bracket. So it's basically saying that it's expecting PHP. So I can do the same thing that I did earlier, where, oh, let's come up with a new category. Unicorns. Unicorns, okay. We can make up a new type of unicorn.
Narwhal. Narwhal.
Okay, so I'll say that my unicorn, oh gosh, how do you spell narwhal?
H-W-H-A-L.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yep.
Okay. So my unicorn is equal to narwhal. And then echo my unicorn. So the great thing about this is, oh, I'm not going to clear that. If I make a syntax error, it'll tell me, but it'll keep that narwhal value in the my unicorn variable. So if I type in something crazy and then I say echo my unicorn, it'll tell me that I had an error. But if I go back to echo my unicorn, it still says narwhal. So it's very handy, and it's much easier to use than just doing PHP-R, because you can kind of think about what you want to do on the fly. So those are the basic things that you can do with PHP in the command line. And now I'm going to talk about scripts and executables. So that Shazam is a comic book character. And I put that in because it sounds like shebang, which is what you need to include in PHP scripts. So the shebang is basically telling your operating system where the PHP executable is. And so in a script, it goes through, it sees that, it says, I'm going to be using PHP to execute this, and then it starts going through every other line. So you need that in a PHP script. The other things that you need in a PHP script are these PHP tags. And then it's just like any other PHP file. I saw that. I'll try making a PHP file. Oh, and to exit this interactive shell, just type in exit. And it goes back to your regular prompt. So I'll try making, what is it? Need to use shebang, and I need to use PHP tags. Help me come up with a name for this file. No? Okay, I'll just say py.php. So the first thing I need to put in is the shebang. Oops. Is it user.bin? Yes. And then the opening PHP script tag. And then I also need that ending PHP script tag. And I can put in whatever I want here. So I will echo something out. Oh, I forgot something very important that I should have said at the beginning, but I can say it right now. So I have a file on my desktop called my file, and it says, Linlin is eating a spicy tuna roll. I wrote this while I was having lunch with Lin. And I'm going to delete this text right now. And I'll close it. And if I open it again, there's nothing there. So I just want you to see that. I'll get to this later. So there's nothing in that file right now. So back to this PHP script. I'll just type in another echo. So echo. Somebody help me. What should I echo out? Yeah, well, let's come up with a different kind of sushi. So Lin is eating a rainbow roll. So it'll show that.
Yep.
Super easy. And so if I do, the command is probably on the next slide. No, it's not on the next slide. The command is PHP and then the name of your PHP file. So here we go, py.php. Lin is eating a rainbow roll. And so the next slide, like you saw, is turning this into an executable. Right now it's a script, and you need that PHP command in order to run it. But you can turn it into an executable by using chmod to turn this X flag to true. So that X is basically, it represents whether it's an executable or not. So I think the chmod help page shows you that. So chmod h. Oh, no, it doesn't. I was looking at the man page earlier.
Man.
That would be strange. Well, I'm going to get out of this. But I will do, what is it? py.php. So chmod x for executable, py.php. And it doesn't give feedback, not an error, so it's probably cool. So now I can do either php py.php, and it tells me that Lin is eating a rainbow roll, or I can just do /py.php, and it's the same thing. So now it's just an executable. I can do the same thing whether or not I have that PHP extension at the end of the file name. So input arguments. Now that it's an executable, I can have input arguments. So this is going to be another string, because that's easy to demonstrate. So I will put that right into the code. So if I open up py.php, and I'll put an if statement in there saying if argc, this number of arguments, is equal to 2, then do something. And this number of arguments is the number of things that I type. So that includes the name of the executable. So if server argc is equal to 2, the count of the arguments.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If that's equal to 2, then do something. And I'm actually going to use what the user put in. So right here is the argument array is basically just saying everything that the user put in. Put that into an array, and I can access that using this keyword, the server argv. So echo. I'll just echo out whatever it is. And since it's an array, I can find the argument that I want using the index in the array. So I'll just say that's 1 because I'm assuming that is there. And then I include a php.endOfLine. Because it's nicer that way. Oops. So let's try this out. If I do /pi.php and I put in another input argument like ocean. What? Quickly. Linlin is eating a rainbow roll quickly. That was very fitting. So yeah, it takes in whatever I want and echoes it out.
So what's in argument 0?
Argument 0? Like if I don't put anything in?
No, like you output argument 1. It's just argument
It's the name of the
Oh yeah, so if I'll go back to the pi.php. If I say I want 0 and do the exact same thing. So if I do pi.php quickly, it'll just say pi.php. So that's how you get input arguments. This is really handy when you're setting this up or if you're doing it automatically. But if you want to make this more interactive with users, there's another way to do that. And that's using this fgets function. So basically what this does is it stops operation and it waits for the user to put something in. It's really handy. I normally make it when I'm just making a silly script. So if I go back to this pi.php, and I'm going to prompt the user to put in something. So echo, oops. Please enter another word. And I'll put that closing tag in. So that's just saying, please enter another word. And then I use this fgets function to expect another word, to tell PHP that like I need another word. So I do that by having a variable name, and I'll just call that word is equal to fgets. What is it, stdin? Yes. And then I'll echo out what the word was. So echo and that's all. Oh, it's caps lock again. So if I do pi quickly, please enter another word. Help me out with another word, please.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. Your word is okay. So that's, yeah, it could be better, but it's just okay. So that's the basics about like making scripts in PHP. And so making crons in service. So we'll be starting out with crons. So cron jobs are tasks that are scheduled. And you can use cron to schedule tasks. And the format is this thing here. So those numbers and those stars indicate how often you want the job to run. And then that command to the right, the php tester.php, is basically saying, I want to do this during this increment. So for this example right here, it's saying that I want to run at 10:30 every night. I want to run tester.php using PHP. So the format for this is there are 5 ways to indicate time here. And it goes minutes, hours, days of the month, months of the year, days of the week. So this one says it's at 10:30 at night, so that's 22:30. And then it doesn't matter what day of the month it is, or what month of the year it is, or what day of the week it is. Just wants it to run every single day. And then that PHP tester, that PHP is the action that you want to take. So remember that file that I showed you like 5 minutes ago? I was saying that Linlin is eating spicy tuna rolls. If I open it up again, it says it again. That's because there's a cron job running that prints out to this file, Linlin is eating a spicy tuna roll. So I will show you that. It is, oh right. There's a special way to access the cron tab, which is the file that stores the orders in this format. So that is cron tab E, lets you edit it, and cron tab L lets you list everything in the file. So if I do cron tab L, it's saying, oh right, that's the name of the file. So it's Banana Hands, runs every 2 minutes, and it outputs what's in bananahands.php, runs it, and puts it onto my file on the desktop. And I can open up Banana Hands right now. So it's just saying Linlin is eating a spicy tuna roll, and I can change this to anything I want. How about oops. I like puppies. Yeah. So if I go and delete all of this again, when I'm done presenting, I'll open it up again, and hopefully it'll say I like puppies. So that's how crons work. And then setting up a server. This is something that like all you need is this PHP executable to do. And the help file, again, is very helpful about this. So PHP H says that if you use this S tag, it says that the address and use that with the address and port of what you want. It runs with a built-in server. So if I do that right now, let's see, PHP S localhost on port 8765. So it started. And so I can go here using Chrome. But this is not Chrome. Oh, that's Chrome, of course. So if I go to so there's a host, but since I'm not specifying what page I want to go to, it's just saying I'm not finding anything. So what was the name of my file again? Does anybody? Pi. Yes, you're right. It was pi. So if I go to /pi.php, it'll print out what it gets. It's giving me a warning because fgets happens in the command line. But it's saying Linlin's eating a rainbow roll. Please enter another word. So yeah, you can use Chrome to access anything that you wrote using PHP in the command line. Another part of this is you can make directories, and you can also run the server command from a different directory. So if I use the -t, I can do it in a different directory. So let's see if I can move to the desktop. Oh, I'll quit this. So if I do the same thing, but I do the -t, that work? Yes. So I did -t and then up one directory, one level. So it should give me the exact same thing. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and when I stop this, and I refresh this, it doesn't know what I'm talking about. So if I hit refresh, it's giving me that thing that happens when you put in something silly. So that's about service. There it is. There's my PowerPoint.
What's the advantage of doing this versus Apache?
It's just easier to set up. You can do it in a minute, and it's probably not as good as if you want something structured to run, but it's great if you're testing out something. Oh. So that's using a different directory. So yeah, I talked about using the command line, making scripts and executables, and making a cron and making a server. There were a couple of other things in the chapters, but they weren't nearly as interesting. Like, they sound really interesting, but the examples are seriously just like PHP files with like special libraries. But it's good to know that you can do these things using PHP. You can compress files and you can encrypt data. So that's all. Any questions? Okay. I guess I'm all done. Oh.
Could you go back to the version of the script where you were prompting for input and then printing it out?
Sure. So if I do py.php, is that what you mean? Oh. And then I can put in anything I want. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
More alpha cases, and then
Where does it come from? I don't know.
It's because you typed a return. It's in standard input.
Oh, okay.
So your word was hello or enter.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay.
So,
I was following along, and I had your word is word, period. And that makes the problem more obvious.
oh, so, okay. So the question was, if I go back to, the output of this, there is an extra new line after hello that isn't accounted for what I see in the file. And the answer is, when I type in word, I also type in enter, and that gets translated to a new line. Okay. Any other questions?
We still have to look at that file to see if the cron job worked.
All right.
That's true.
Thank you. I would have been really sad if I got home and realized that I never opened that file. Oh, I like puppies. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I'll finish up then. Thank you so much for coming. This was actually a lot of fun. So, and I learned a lot making this presentation. So thank you so much.
Thank you.